And when we took office, our state's transportation system was really in shambles. There were real problems, all in many ways attributable to decades of underinvestment. And so, we got to work because bridges were in tough shape. People were forced to take long detours. Too many roads were full of potholes, and communities just didn't have the support because of that neglect. And that's quality of life. It's also key to having economic success for our state. Our ability to get around from place to place is so important. Just like having access to homes you can afford is so important. And earlier this day, we started with our other priority, which is announcing more support, $160 million in tax credits for more affordable housing around the state. Homes that people need. And that includes about 440 new units that we hope to bring online right here in Brockton. So, I just say that because we're here today for something special. We wanted to highlight, in particular, the work of our great regional transit authorities. And it's great to be here in Brockton with the folks from BAT, and we thank Mike Lambert for all the work that they do, and the team, the BAT team. We've also got other RTA leaders with us: Noah Berger from Merrimack Valley, Eric Rousseau from Southeastern Regional Transit Authority, Mary Ellen DeFrias from the Greater Attleboro Regional Transit Authority, Chris Cooney from Metro South Chamber, and Bill Mitchell from Massasoit Community College. So RTA leaders and then other leaders as well. The last 2 years, we received historic levels of federal funding. We put a team together in our office, and we made a huge effort to get out, apply for, and get federal funds. We brought back $9 billion in federal funding. A lot of that is going right into infrastructure and transportation projects. We provided state funding to make all 13 of our RTAs fare-free, starting last year. And as the mayor said, we know that brings ridership up. We got community rail ridership back up to pre-pandemic levels, one of the strongest comebacks in the country for commuter rail. And on the T, we eliminated slow zones for the first time in over 20 years. And I think if you take the bus from Brockton to Ashmont, you know that the red line is running better than it has in a long time. So our job is to continue to build on that progress. It's why we've proposed $8 billion. Spend that money over the next 10 years on transportation. We figured out a good way to do that and make sure that we're leveraging our great bond rating, access to capital, and financing that's going to allow us to put $8 billion into our roads, our bridges, flood protection, right? Commuter rail, RTAs, and so much more. This is about making sure that people in the state enjoy a high quality of life, that they get to where they need to go, and that we have what we need in place in terms of the basic foundations for economic success: housing and great public transportation. This plan, by the way, no new taxes, okay? We're focused on keeping costs down. This is focused on using ways that we can, through a lot of smart financial management, get the most out of our dollars. So I'm really thrilled to be here today. I'm going to introduce the LG, who's going to introduce the secretary. But again, thank you for all that each and every one of you do to make Brockton a great community and build strong communities around this state.
Thank you, Gov. It is great to be in Brockton and earlier in Plymouth. And the fact of the matter is our offices may be in the State House, but we are out and about in communities all the time. And we really actually appreciate being able to meet in communities, understanding what the challenges are, and more importantly, being the strong state partner that you need. I was a mayor for 17 years in Salem, got to serve alongside Bob, and I think we recognize that if we're going to build the housing that we need, if we're going to educate the students and get the talent that we need, if we're going to find a way to move Massachusetts forward, it's going to happen in our communities. And that's why you need a strong state partner, and we need action on the ground, whether it's building housing, supporting transit. We have got amazing RTA leaders. What you all are doing, Mike, the others who are here, building the type of transportation networks we need, it's not your grandfather's RTA. It is today looking at how do we use technology, how do we invest in vehicles, how do we make sure we're getting people where they need to go, and it's our job to help support that, to lift up, invest, and empower the work that you all are doing. And so thrilled to be here to continue to support those efforts. An hour ago it was on housing, that some of which was happening here in Brockton. Today, it's on transportation, and by and large, I want you to know, even though we're not in Brockton every day as much as we'd like to, we are thinking about communities and how we make life easier in communities for local leaders and for people who live here, who want to go to school, who need to get to a medical appointment, who want to get to Boston. And these are the sorts of investments that drive our thinking and the thinking of our administration every single day. So thank you for being here. It's now my pleasure to introduce our Secretary of Transportation, who is working hard to make sure we're deploying all these resources in places where they really matter, Monica Tibbetts-Nutt.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and thank you, Governor Healey, and all of my heads of the RTAs, and our Rail and Transit Administrator, Meredith Schlesinger, and our Deputy Director, Tom Schiavone. I'm incredibly thrilled to be able to come out here to see all of you, but especially talk about all of the transformative investments that this administration is making. From day one, Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll have made it very clear, transportation is a priority. It isn't just a priority, it is more than that. It really is focused on a commitment to strengthening our infrastructure, expanding all transit options, ensuring people can get to where they need to go safely, efficiently, and reliably. The House One budget builds on this promise. This is $8 billion, an $8 billion investment in roads, bridges, culverts, regional transit, and the MBTA, and focused on expanding all of our mobility options. It's a plan that isn't just about infrastructure, it is about people's lives. To understand all of these investments, you need to be out into these communities. This is focused on not just upgrading our infrastructure, but also strengthening our regional public transit. We are focused on expanding service, more evening, more weekend service, more routes, new buses, and supporting local communities that are making the investments just like Brockton. This is the kind of progress that really, truly makes a difference for someone trying to get to work, for someone trying to get to school, for someone who's just trying to get to a doctor's appointment. Reliable transit isn't a luxury, it is an absolute necessity. The key to every transportation system is investment. Transportation shapes the quality of our lives, and it determines the future of our lives. It affects how local businesses can thrive. It affects how seniors can continue to age in place. And it affects how people are able to invest in housing while also continuing to push our economy. Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll get this in a way that I don't think many people do. They are delivering real solutions for all 351 municipalities. And when we talk about all 351, it is also important to talk about the regional transit authorities that serve 174 of them. When you understand how regional transit impacts people's lives, you understand how these connections continue. Whether, as I said, you're talking about healthcare, you're talking about education, every investment you make is continuing to open up opportunities. I talk a lot with our teams, I talk a lot with my colleagues across the Commonwealth, and the big thing we talk about is how simple transportation actually is. It's about access and it's about options. But if you don't have an administration that is focused on the investments to make those possible, you can't have the impact that this administration is having. So I just want to thank you all for having us here today. And now I want to take an opportunity to introduce a very good friend, a longtime friend, and an unbelievable administrator of this fantastic Brockton area transit.
Those are some tough acts to follow. I apologize in advance. I just want to quickly also recognize Mary Waldron and her team from Old Colony Planning Council. Thank you, Mary. We work closely with them on a near daily basis, and then we asked them to help with this event, and they dropped everything and helped out. I would also like to, of course, offer my sincere thanks to our operational team and bad administrative staff for helping put this event together. With a special shout out to the state's best maintenance crew for ensuring BAT's facilities and vehicles have been safe and clean during these recent bouts of winter weather. It's particularly special for me to host our honored guests from the administration, as I've been a fan of each of them for a long time. The accomplishments of Attorney General Healey on behalf of the residents of Brockton and all our gateway cities are well known. In fact, she was last in this building at the height of COVID while on a tour to support minority-owned businesses across the city. What you might not know, however, is that with her return today, she becomes the first governor in history to visit the BAT Center. I first met Lieutenant Governor Driscoll back when she had just been elected mayor, and I was working at City Hall in Somerville. Now, nearly a few years later, the transformative growth of both cities offers a roadmap for downtown redevelopment that Mayor Sullivan has begun to successfully implement here in Brockton. Thank you for being here, LG. As you heard, the Secretary and I go back to her role as a fellow transportation provider at the 128 Business Council, and then on to her position with the MBTA's Fiscal Control Board, where she provided a critical voice for the customer, which at that time was certainly not a given. Thank you very much for that service and for your unwavering support of regional transit as Secretary. And then finally, of course, to my former colleagues at the Rail and Transit Division, represented by Administrator Meredith Schlesinger and Deputy Administrator Tom Schiavone, who are the unsung heroes responsible for getting us the funds that make this all possible. As you heard already, we're here today to celebrate a success story. When voters passed the Fair Share Amendment in 2022, there were understandable questions regarding its long-term impacts. And of course, not all those questions have been answered yet, but what has become abundantly clear is that the resulting investment in transportation has yielded results far exceeding all expectations. Thanks to targeted allocations of new funding by the governor and the legislature, the Commonwealth's 15 regional transit authorities have not only fully recovered from COVID, but are now carrying more passengers than we did before the pandemic. The reasons for this quick turnaround are fairly straightforward. The RTAs run flexible bus systems that have a history of innovation. Our fleets have all been kept in a state of good repair due to regular capital investment. And because we typically focus our service on just one or two gateway cities, we can develop deep connections within our communities while incurring low overhead costs. Increased funding, therefore, translates very quickly into increased service. Along with instituting fare-free programs, RTAs significantly expanded their days and hours of fixed route service, as you heard the Secretary say, over the past 2 years. Here in Brockton, we doubled our weekend frequencies and added over 100 trips every weekday. The new service has yielded excellent results. BAT is now witnessing at least a 25-year high in ridership. Awesome. And remarkably, for a city of only about 100,000, we're averaging well over 11,000 riders a day and are on pace to complete at least 4 million passenger trips this year.
Great work. Yeah, awesome.
Even better, as the Secretary said, the benefits of this increased ridership are not limited simply to our customers. Friends and families benefit from critical visits. Patients benefit from easier access to medical appointments. Small businesses benefit from increased mobility and increased customer purchasing power. And everyone benefits from the reduction in congestion and pollution that occurs when trips are made via transit instead of private vehicles. All of which adds up to my sincere belief that a dollar invested in transportation is one of the best dollars that government can spend. I may be biased there. So once again, I offer my thanks to the governor for her historic visit and historic levels of support for regional transit. And I thank you all for coming here today. Turn it back over.
That's great. Excellent. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Fantastic. Keep up the great work, and we look forward to more transit stops around the